Welcome back everybody to another video. I'm here with this Camry. Apparently the front driver wheel bearing's busted. I'm gonna take you through step by step, tools, everything you need to get the job done. So like, share, subscribe if you like my instructional videos. Hopefully you do. If you don't, please do it anyways. This algorithm's a beast. Anyways, let's get into it. Step 1, jack up the vehicle and take the wheel off. Lug nuts are 21 millimeter. Before you can break this nut loose, it's pushed into here. So you need to put something under here, flathead screwdriver, a punch, something, and you gotta lift it up so that this piece doesn't stop you from loosening the nut. So this is a 30 millimeter 12-point socket. So I had to go buy this special. It's part number 50-503, and these were in stock at AutoZone. There was 2 of them there. So I'm going to use that to take this nut off. AutoZone carries this new one in stock. They had 2 of them, so should be pretty easy to get them. They have it labeled as a spindle nut. Part number for the spindle nut 615-224. Use a 14 millimeter. Remove this bolt that holds the brake line to the shock. We have to get the ABS sensor disconnected because we don't want to damage it while we're moving this all around. Take a 10 mil, remove this bolt, and then you just slide the sensor out of the spindle. Use a flathead screwdriver or panel popper to pop this thing out of this hole, and then just slide this up in the strut to hold it. You're going to use a 14 millimeter, remove both of the bolts that hold the caliper. After taking the caliper off, get a big zip tie, put it through there so it holds it. Now we're going to take these brake pads out, and we're going to make sure we follow the orientation of whatever it is. So this is the back. So the back I'm going to put face up. And then the front, I'm going to put face down, like so. Next, we're going to remove the brake caliper bracket. Has 2 17s, one here, one down here. Because of the orientation of this guy, it's easier to use one of these flexi ball joint style sockets, so it can be moved out of the way. And then you're going to righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, pull both of those bolts out. Pull the rotor off. And you're going to set this guy off to the side. Don't damage it because you're reusing it. Now you can see the part we're replacing. Here's the 4 bolts that hold it in. And there's one more down there. So we're going to next remove these 2 so that we can tilt this whole thing forward. We need to remove these bolts so that the spindle moves freely, so we can get the axle shaft out. It's a 22 millimeter on both sides. You're going to turn it from the nut side here. So this side is what you're going to spin. The other side, you're just going to hold it. Pull the CV shaft out, sort of set it off to the side. You don't want to damage these threads, so be careful. But we just need it off and out of the way. Now you're going to take a 17 millimeter. I'm going to use the same wobbly socket I got. You're going to remove all 4 of these bolts. And then the hub probably won't just fall out. We're probably going to have to tap it with a hammer because it sort of gets seized in with the dirt and stuff. But that's all that holds this in, okay? So if you're at a place where it rusts, you might have to get, brutal with a hammer or something. But it should just come out. So take these 4 bolts. Remove this. For this model, there was 2 versions of this that popped up. So we have, here's the old crappy one, and then we have a 90,002 and 9010. And the difference is the CV shaft size. So the part you need is going to depend on your axle. So I suggest going pulling your old one out first, then going to AutoZone and getting it. So I didn't know. I just bought them both. I'll just return one. It's not a big deal. But for my case, I need the 10, not the 2. It has the bigger opening, just like this one. This one is quite a bit smaller. So apparently there's maybe a package that changes your CV shaft size. But I put in V6, and both part numbers pop up for V6. When you're putting the heat shield on, make sure the gap is towards the front of the vehicle. And these are not covered. The heat shield should dish out. So it's here, it goes in towards the inside of the vehicle. And all the bolt holes should line up. Just thread them by hand first. I got all 4 started. Now I'm going to push it together like so. And hand tighten all 4 of these guys. I'm going to tighten these things down to 65 foot-pounds. If you want the real number, go look online, but I'm just going to tighten it till it feels tight like I do on every vehicle. I'm going to take a little bit of wheel bearing grease, put it on the splines here, and then slide it into the new hub assembly. After sliding in the axle, make sure that it still wiggles over here, because if you let it come too far out and the bearing parts popped out of the cup, you're going to have a bad day. So just make sure it slides in and out nice. At the same time that you slide this through, you put these bolts in order to hold everything together, and then you don't have issues with the axle. So I'm just going to put these on hand tight here. I'm going to tighten these bolts down good and tight where they don't move. They're tight enough. You know, you're not really gonna break them, so just make them tight and then you won't have any issues. Clean off the rotor with brake cleaner just in case you got some oils on them, and then reinstall this onto the hub. You're gonna want to hold the rotor like that. You could put a lug nut on it just to hold it so it doesn't move around while you're trying to do this, unless you have a helper. Now come over here, tighten these down by hand, and then tighten them good and tight. Put the brake pads back in. Now we're going to cut this zip tie, put the caliper back on, and reinstall these 14mm bolts here. Don't go crazy torquing these. These are not that strong. You just need them tight, okay? Put this ABS thing back in. It has little notches that fit in first. Then over here, clip that in. And then over here, we slide that through the hole. Now we can put this 10mm back. Just tighten it hand tight. It's very weak. Don't go crazy. Now we put the brake line back. Grab this 14mm bolt, start it by hand, get it in a few threads, because these suck. If you cross thread these, your life is gonna suck. So get it in most of the way and not just tighten it down by hand. Don't go crazy. Last part of this, you're gonna need a helper to push on the brakes. So I got this new one here. It's only gonna go on by hand till it starts hitting this flange area. Then I'm gonna put this on, but in order to put this on, we need somebody inside the car holding the brake so that the thing doesn't actually just spin. Torque wrench on. It's easier to get the torque wrench on with the wheel turned slightly so you're not hitting the fender. So do that. I'm gonna tighten this crap down to like 140 foot-pounds, just tight. Now we have it torqued down. This groove here, we need to punch this piece down into the groove. So you grab a punch, try to line it up, and we need to fold it in a little bit. Just like that. You don't have to go insane and push it all the way down in the groove. It just needs to be in enough that it's not gonna spin off. Last step, finally, put the wheel back on and you're done.